And it is time for another STEM Life demonstration. So what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a paperclip. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to complete an isometric and orthographic sketch of a paperclip. So let's first start off by saying that a sketch, normally the only tools that you're really going to need is you're going to need an object such as a paperclip. You're going to want something to write on or draw on. I like using graph paper or isometric paper, as well as you are going to want a pencil. Usually you want a better eraser than what I've got right now, but we're going to see if we can make this work. So, to start off with, when you're doing an isometric drawing, which is going to be similar to a more three-dimensional drawing, this is where you're going to be able to see the top, front, and side views of an object. So, when we're drawing these isometric sketches, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that all of your horizontal edges, that's your edges that run from left to right, are drawn at an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. You're going to want to make sure that all of your vertical edges, or the edges that are going straight up and down, are drawn at an angle of 90 degrees, or perpendicular with the horizontal. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start drawing my paperclip up here in the isometric sketch. So as I do this, you're going to notice that what I'm doing is I'm going to be using this grid in order to base my 30-degree angle as well as my 90-degree angle with the horizontal. You can use isometric paper, it usually makes it easier. I just don't have any right now, so that's why I'm just going to be using graph paper. Alright, so when we take a look at what I was doing, you'll notice I did plenty of erasing, which especially since I didn't have a great erasing tool, it makes it a little bit messy, but if you have a better eraser, you can make it a little bit cleaner. But you'll notice that in my drawing, it's got a clear top, front, and side view, and I differentiated that by doing some different shading techniques there, where I did each side a different shade. You also may have noticed some techniques that I was doing when drawing my isometric sketches. I was spotting my beginning point and my end point when I was going to draw the lines, and I would go back slowly back and forth with my pencil lightly on the page until I got the line in the shape or the angle that I was looking to get it in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to complete an orthographic sketch. Now, an orthographic sketch is going to be the top, front, and side views of an object in 3 different views. So, for that, I'm going to do my top view over here, my front view down here, and my side view down here. So, what you'll notice is, in my orthographic sketch, I did my top view up here, my front view right here, and then my side view right down here. And you'll notice that some of the techniques that I use is I use these construction lines, so that way I'm able to totally line up my sketches. So you'll notice that my top view is directly above my front view, and my side view is perfectly to the side of my front view. Now, the purpose of both these types of sketches are to make it so that way you can give whoever is designing an object the exact specifications that are needed in order to recreate that object. So, in addition to what I've got here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my dimensions. So for this, I'm going to need to make sure that I'm using a ruler. So what you'll notice that is on my orthographic drawing, on my top view, what I put is I put in all my width measurements, as well as in my front view, I put in all my length measurements. And then in my side view, I put in all of my height measurements. So that way, the object can be recreated and now fully dimensioned. So that way, if somebody wants to recreate this object, they should have what they need in terms of measurements and design. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to repeat measurements. So, since you have your length measurements down on your front view, you don't want to also include them up here on your top view, because that just creates more clutter in your drawing. And also, you might notice that it's super important to have a sharpened pencil, which I don't exactly have right now, as well as you may have noticed that I started to write down the measurements as 8.4 millimeters. However, it's super important to recognize your units of measurement, such as when you're using a ruler. When taking a look at the ruler that I was using, you'll notice that one side is inches, the other side is millimeters and centimeters. Now, I like using millimeters and centimeters because I find that they're easier to use. Okay, so when we look at a ruler, when we look at the millimeters is each little tiny line, while the big numbers, that's going to be your centimeters. So there's going to be 10 little lines, or 10 millimeters, in each 1 centimeter. So there you have it. I've got a completed isometric and orthographic sketch of a paperclip. This has been another STEM Life demonstration.